Dear family on this planet, whether you are humans, animals, plants, microorganisms, rocks, if you're water, if you're a natural power, welcome to the first episode of One Planet, One Family in Focus. And we from the Pegasus family, we have a mission. It's called One Planet, One Family. And we want to reconnect us humans to all life forms on this planet, because all life forms on this planet are family. And I'm very proud and very happy to have Dr. Fabio Alberto Ramirez with me today and to talk with him about the topic of our first episode, which is plant spirits and eternal love. Welcome, Fabio.
Thanks a lot.
You studied medicine many years ago, and then something happened, and somehow you changed the path that you went. Can you tell us what happened then?
Well, when I was a medical student, I noticed that the results, especially in the case of chronic diseases, were not very good. I mean, chronic patients came again and again all the time, and we were only able to treat symptoms, but not the cause of the disease. That's why even when I was studying medicine, I was starting feeling kind of unsatisfied with those results. Then when I finished my career, I noticed that the problems were even bigger than what I thought, because Colombia is a country of the third world where people lack food and resources to buy medicines. So I always thought there must be something that can help people without using drugs and new ways to nourish themselves. There must be something. And in that moment started my interest in alternative methods of healing.
Would you say that our, let's call it Western modern medicine that treats mainly symptoms is wrong, and alternative medicine and plant medicine is right?
No, I wouldn't say that. I mean, our Western medicine, it's also very good. The problem is to consider that all diseases can only be treated like that. There are many possibilities. But in many cases, you should use conventional Western medicine. For instance, accidents or heart attacks or, well, many cases where you need surgery. So now we talk about alternative and complementary medicine. So we have very good results with chronic diseases, and even diseases nobody can cure. And we are here to cooperate. So it's a matter of opening our mind. Recently, I had a patient with a brain tumor. He was going to be operated, a young patient. I thought it wasn't a good idea. And I started treating the patient with ayahuasca and Oquidin medicine. I mean, the patient was healed. He don't have any symptom now. There's no tumor. So it's a result. It's worthy to consider.
Mm-hmm. When we first met, I came to Bogotá to do an interview with you for the Root Republic. And after the interview, you asked me, Oliver, tonight I'm going to take some yaché. Would you like to join me? And for me, it sounded like, shall we have a beer together? And I have heard of yaché before. I knew that it's the Colombian kind of ayahuasca. And I agreed, and the night that followed was really life-changing for me. And I remember that the next morning, you told me a deep truth about the matter of which the universe consists. Can you tell me again, and please explain that?
Well, in several traditions, they say there's a stuff that builds the universe, and it's a green matter, it's a green stuff.
Todo el universo consta de una materia, y el color de esta materia es verde.
And that's why plants like coca plants and minerals like emerald are so powerful, because with those elements you have access to that infinite power of creativity.
So maybe on Valentine's Day we shouldn't send red hearts, we should send green hearts to our loved ones, right?
Yeah. Green is the color of nature, and it's also the color of the universe when you see it in a spiritual way.
How can plants help us when you heal patients? Is it just that there is a certain kind of tea and the plant itself, this leaf has a special substance, or are there more dimensions in which plants can heal us?
Well, plants are memory, and plants are consciousness. So there's a mistake we commit when we say plants are there outside and me and here, but it's not true. I mean, plants live in us, and we live in plants. Why? Because we share neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters. Yeah? For instance, with the tobacco plant, the main alkaloid, which is nicotine, is very close related to acetylcholine. Yeah? So acetylcholine is the endogenous nicotine. So we share because we are part of the universe and everything is consciousness. It's a mistake to consider plants and minerals and everything that lives in a reductionistic way.
These days in Europe, it's very common to have ayahuasca ceremonies or yahe ceremonies. And many people that I talked to, they were either disappointed because I didn't see any visions, I didn't see the snakes, or they were very happy because, wow, I had hallucinations. Yeah. Is this viewpoint correct, or is it a wrong viewpoint?
Well, in spite of the fact that ayahuasca produces visions, the goal of the experience has nothing to do with visions. In South America, for instance, in Colombia, nobody looks for visions. I think it's a one-sided perception of reality in Europe and in the United States. What makes daily life now and then a little boring. That's why people look for something extraordinary. Here, reality is magic. I mean, you only have to look at the street and you're going to find something magic. Yeah? So it's a matter of the culture. But the purpose of taking ayahuasca, of taking yahe, is to produce a deep inner change, which is called the little death. I mean, many wise men have said the same thing. If you want to know how to live properly, it's very important to know how to die. And dying is only to let it go, what we don't need anymore, and be reborn. To be reborn, we have to experience a little death. But death is a taboo, and old age is also a taboo. So we have to go beyond those taboos.
If I tell people in Germany that now, after several months that I've been working and cooperating with you, that I work with a coca plant and with a tobacco plant, the first thing they say, it's illegal and it's bad for your health because they mix it up with products that are made of the plants. But what's the history of this problem?
Well, coca plant is legal in South America, legal in Colombia, and in South America. There are projects of the United Nations that support coca plantations for indigenous people. It's a marvelous, nourishing plant. It's a passport to the universe. That's what the Kogis say. You can communicate with the universe when you use it properly. It's a huge potential for spiritual development.
Las plantas todas sanan, enseñan y protegen, pero cada uno lo hace a su manera. Porque todo está vivo, absolutamente todo está vivo. Y es importante saber que las plantas, cada planta tiene un mensaje. Entonces, cuando uno se comunica con las plantas, obtiene el mensaje que necesita.
You once told me the story of a white man asking an indigenous why they have so many secrets about and wisdom about plants, but they don't give it to us.
Yeah.
What was that story again?
Yeah. There was a white man, and he was asking an Indian man, why don't you tell us all your secrets? And he told him, okay, look, we have given you two plants, coca plant and tobacco, and look at what happened.
And we made cocaine and cigarettes from
Yeah.
it. Yeah, that spoil us instead
Yeah.
of healing us.
Yeah.
If you start talking to plants, communicating with plants, from your viewpoint, when I communicate with this coca plant, am I communicating with this plant that I see, or is it rather a plant spirit that I'm communicating with?
Yeah, well, it's a plant spirit. I mean, plants have a temperament, have a behavior, have an attitude. Tobacco and coca plant are master plants. Master plants can heal or kill. It depends how you relate to them. That's why you need, it's important to know the rules, how to behave, so that you can obtain the benefits without damaging yourself.
Mm-hmm. So the plants can do a lot for us in our physical body, in our mind, in our spirit. Are they expecting anything from us to get back? Is there something that they want back from us?
I would say that the only thing they would expect from us is that we grow in terms of consciousness. They will be very satisfied if we can grow. I mean, plants in the indigenous traditions are presents of the gods. They were given because men needed them. Yeah? Tobacco, which the real name of tobacco in the Amazonian tradition is Diona. Di means blood, O, U, Na, essence. So it's a plant that helps us to humanize, because the main characteristic of our civilization is lack of humanization, deshumanization.
The plants can help us to humanize. For me, that means automatically that their consciousness is higher than our consciousness. Whereas science tells us that humans have a consciousness, of course, maybe some animals, but only maybe, and plants for sure have no consciousness. This is what I've learned, and this still is what people think. But is it rather so that plants have a higher consciousness?
No. I mean, many traditions say the same. In Buddhism, they say we already have Buddha mind, yeah? And we are already ayahuasca, we are already tobacco and coca, but we forgot. So we have to remember our true nature. Disease is the result of forgetting our true nature. Plants are there to remember us, who we are, because plants are the memory that we need, that we lost.
So that means in the end, it's not me sitting here and the tobacco plant being here, but in the end, if I remember the whole truth, it's that we are one.
We are one.
The tobacco plant is me, and
Yeah.
I'm the tobacco plant.
Yeah, exactly.
So I shouldn't say I am thirsty, but we are thirsty, right?
Yeah. Yes, of
Yeah.
course.
Mhm.
Yes.
We made some duga ceremonies together, where you use a product of the tobacco plant. Can you tell me a little bit of the ambil, how it's made, and what a duga ceremony is like, and what it's for?
So when you use it, there's an immediate connection. That's why the Ona is a sacred plant, because it connects us physically, spiritually, and socially, and also with the universe. We can think with clarity. We develop our paranormal faculties, which are always there. I mean, those abilities are always there. but we forgot because most of the time we are in the cortex, in the most recent evolved area of our brain, and we forgot deeper structures that relate to intuition, synchronicity, and well, all kind of vision. Yeah. Then how is your heart? Is your heart open? Because many traditions say the same. The real path is the path with heart. Hmm? To activate intuition, it's very important to think properly. And then, of course, the brain is active, but active in connection with your heart, not disconnected. That means thinking properly, because thought is what inspires action. So, what kind of thoughts are you creating all the time? That's the main aspects of Tuga, and that's the main aspect of the Tuga tradition of the Colombian Amazonas.
In my Duga experiences, I felt after some minutes, sometimes it took a little longer, that something from, let's call it from a dark basement, something dark comes up, that the shadows come up in a way. That's how it felt. Now, what we I say we, but many people in the so-called modern countries like Europe, we try to avoid shadows. We try to avoid the darkness. We would love to have a life which is only full of light and happiness, and there would be no diseases. Would that really be a good life?
No, it's not like that. It cannot be like that, because in the Amazonas tradition we say life has two aspects: a sweet or cool aspect and a hot aspect, and you have to learn how to live with both. Yeah, so you have to learn how to cool down what's hot and to transform it as sweet so you can nourish it. So we live in the duality, so it's impossible to have such a nice life. You can live properly, and even you can be happy, but only through wisdom. Wisdom is a requirement to be happy. Yeah? It's not only a self-satisfaction. What many self-satisfaction is okay. You shouldn't deny it. Yeah, you should accomplish self-satisfaction. But that's the only thing that our society offers. Comfort. Oscar Wilde said that comfort is the only thing that this society has to offer. But it's not the way, because such a superficial way of living creates lack of balance. That's why addiction is the disease of industrialized countries, because people are so unsatisfied with their lifestyles.
In your opinion, what's the meaning of life?
Well, I think the meaning of life is being happy. But for attaining that happiness, you have to attain wisdom first.
Do you have a favorite plant, like your big love in the plant world?
Well, I have several, because I work mainly with two traditions, which is the ayahuasca tradition. It's a plant I respect a lot and I love a lot. And today, many people all around the world are drinking ayahuasca because it's a need. Yeah. But also the tradition of Dona tobacco and healing a plant, which is healing through the word. It's one of my beloved traditions. Life is not so complicated. All you have to know is how to sleep properly, how to work properly, how to nourish yourself properly, how to make love. If you know these 4 rules, you know how to live properly. But everything should be done with awareness, with consciousness. Yeah?
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks a lot for being here today, Fabio.
It was a pleasure and an honor to be
For
here.
me too. Thank you, my friend. And I hope that this very first One Planet, One Family in Focus inspired you. We will show you the links to the websites now where you get more information over Fabio, over the Duga ceremonies, and over us, the Pegasus family, and our mission, One Planet, One Family. And we're looking forward to see you all, be you humans, animals, plants, rocks, microorganisms. Tune in to the second episode of One Planet, One Family in Focus.